Hello and welcome to the Handicapable Black Woman Throne Room. My view of humanity is a whole new tea. Hi, hello, how are my lovelies, my beauties, my royalty? Okay, let's get that hot, boiling, scorching hot petty tea out. And if you like it cold, just hold the ICE. Yeah, let's hold the ice for a little while. I know we're in spring now. It's going to be getting warmer. And, oh, well, I mean, if you're in Australia, it's going to be getting colder. So, yeah, whichever. Because, yeah, opposites. They say opposites attract, but I don't think for me. Yeah, I want to have so many story times on more about Mr. No Heart, Mr. Lockakey, and some of the other men that I have met in my life, including, yeah, I just mentioned a new one a couple days ago. Yeah, and I have to go back to some of the other ones that I've mentioned in my past because a lot of them keep trying to come back. I don't know what. Yeah, that's gonna be a mystery in my mind. I'm gonna study it and I'm gonna try to figure it out, but I just find it amusing. And this is a political dating nightmare combo again, because especially we're not talking about the Epstein files enough again. It's like each time this orange man distracts and he's like, don't look at this, look at that. Don't look at the files. Look, I'm starting a war. Look at me, look at me, look at the war. Look, I just bombed a bunch of girls and I'm showing that I don't really care that much. See, that's going to anger you. See, I don't think much of women. See, look at me. Look, because I cheated on all of my wives. And even in one book, or interview, about one of my ex-wives, she mentioned how I pulled out her hair and forced her to do things. But then, I don't like. Honestly, I don't even know how he convinced her to change that story. But isn't she the one that is now her grave is at one of his golf courses? Yeah, he didn't. For tax benefit. Yeah. And so now, looking at a lot of these men and looking at a lot of the men who vote Republican, looking at a lot of the men who are now running to the church and are now conservative, it's interesting because, like I keep saying, people mirror who they want to embody, who they want to resemble and be influenced by. And looking at a lot of the Republicans, looking at a lot of the rich, and it's like, because I'm starting a business, and yes, do I want to be rich? Not like I want to be rich enough where I don't have to worry about anything. And also so that I can adopt and foster, and for them to, I want to spoil them. I want to teach them. It's like I want to teach them how to start their own businesses and stuff. And maybe I won't spoil them because I want them to know. I mean, because yeah, I'm on both sides because they grew up in a hard life, and so I want to make sure they know how valuable at like the like. Okay, I want to know how they should value their themselves, love themselves, identify with themselves, and treasure who they are, because a lot of people out there judge them. And I've been judged as someone, as black, as a woman, as a person with a disability, with a combination of all of them. I know how it feels. And so, yeah, and I'm going to keep talking about that because, especially over the last 10 years, it's really interesting. The more I hear the Republicans talk about pro life, but then, like, hearing Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert, like, hearing their views on adopting and fostering, but then they're from the church, though. And then even hearing a lot of the pro-life women, which is one reason why I dragged them, I verbally dragged them, because when you ask them, have you adopted? Will you adopt? Will you file? No, I already have kids. No, I don't. Like, no, no, it's just this. But then when you meet women who don't have kids and they say they want to, and then Marjorie Taylor Greene, like, you're not a real mother. You're not a mother. Like, okay, so we have all of these kids in the system, but, and you're supposedly pro life. So, I don't know. It's like, that's just going to be the biggest puzzle in my head. And I bring it up here and there, and I'm going to keep doing it because I feel like if you are pro life, get off your lazy butt and do something, you know? And or if you don't want any kids, but you're pro life, it's like donate or make sure you provide so that a child is taken care of, you know? But that's just in my opinion. But I'm going to be saying it more and more. And I'm going to be talking more about the Epstein files, increasingly more, because, like I said, he is just doing the look over here, look at this, look at that. Yeah, yeah. Don't, no, no, no. Forget about the files. Forget about my name in them. Forget, no, no, no. And yeah, Republicans, remember, say that I have been acquitted of all. Say that I have been, like, I'm not charged with anything. Say I have nothing to do with it, even though the files say differently. And even though they have blacked out so much information. And even though there are millions of documents still not open, and even though there is a new building or foundation in, I believe, New Mexico. Yeah, Arizona or New Mexico. I believe it's New Mexico though. But yeah, it's like, and oh yeah, and then they did a investigation at one of the houses with a safe with a bunch of files, but then they found out that they had to leave the files there and come back with the documents later. But when they did, a lot of the documents were missing. And then even when Epstein like passed away or whatever, now we're hearing how so many documents, so many more documents than normal were dumped. But then when they were trying to go and get those documents, they already went and picked up the trash. It's like they knew what day trash day was. It's like they knew what day trash day was. But with all of that, it just makes me it just makes me think about a lot of these Republican men with dating and their expectations of dating, and watching a lot of these videos and a lot of these men. I've heard so many videos of men who say, well, I just want a woman who stays at home and cooks and cleans. I want a woman who I can go to work and come back. And after she's had a fun day or after she's done nothing, because yeah, some of these men say that the woman has done nothing, but then also turn around and say that he wants her to do all the things he does not want to do. And he will even complain, why won't she do the things I don't want to do? Why won't she go and fix the prescription things or my bank accounts or whatever, whatever? But then say, oh, she had fun today. So on one side, you say the things that you don't want to do are fun. Mm, okay. But then you say she did nothing. Like, I don't know. Sometimes I just feel like some of these men need to come together, have a meeting, and figure out what their lives are going to be. And also, a lot of these men say that one thing that is the most unattractive, which I have run into. Oh, look at my Patreon. Look, like, I have so much evidence of some of these men saying that they want a obedient woman. Yeah, those are up there. And then, oh, I have more too. Oh, I have so many more. But also men saying, I want a feminine woman. And oh, if you've been to college, if you have a degree, swipe left. I don't have time for you. And yeah, but it's like I do appreciate the Republican men who say swipe like your politics. So, and that's what I'm like. I swipe left so quickly because, yeah, Republican men do that. Do exactly that. Because a lot, like, and because, be careful, ladies, because a lot of men are lying now because they are realizing that a lot of you, a lot of us, a lot of you don't want anything to do with them when it comes to dating. You might be friends with them, but they don't want to be friends. They don't want to be friends. They want to be able to hook up with you. They want to be able to take you out to dinner and like romance you so that they can, in some cases, trap you into a relationship so then they can take power and tell you what to do. And then they want to tell you what to do and not allow you to say your point of view and your peace of mind. Because then we also have to remember that one pastor that was in that interview. And then they were interviewing also some of his colleagues, co-workers, and even members of the church. And that one woman, huh? I'm just like, I could never. Because when they said that they moved to the new state, or I think they moved to DC, I forgot like where, but the interviewer was like, "Oh, and that was your decision," and the woman's nodding, "Oh yes, he makes all those decisions. Yes." It's like, "Oh yes, I listen to him." Yeah, like what in the world? You sound more like a pet than a spouse. Mm, mm. Could never be me. Could never be me. And I thought this, I mean, but then I don't put down women who want the conservative lifestyle, the traditional woman stay at home. Because I'm just like, hey, do your thing. But if you've been listening to my episodes, you've also been listening to, yes, I've never been like married, but I've been in long term relationships. And the thing is that I'm so thankful that I have a minor in anthropology. So, in a way, like I studied like the relationships to a point where now I know the patterns, and now that I'm seeing the dating advice that these Republican conservative male gurus are trying to now place on generation, well, even still some of the millennials, where I'm just like, millennials, if you come on now, come on now. But anyways, Generation Z and A, well, mostly Z right now, but they're gonna move over to A once they get up, And it's the internet, so a lot of this stuff is still going to be up. So they're gonna try to make it last as long as possible. And also, millennial men will be like teaching their Generation A. So yeah, teach them young, right? Teach them young. Yeah, yeah. But yeah, looking at the dating selection now and looking at a lot of the men and a lot of the messages that I've gotten from millennial men, it's absolutely horrible. It's frightening. It's kind of like a scary movie. And a lot of the men blame me for being single, or they blame me for them being single, because they tell me, if you didn't have those standards, if you weren't looking for a man that you had things in common with, what do politics have to do with dating? Mm. That's hitting a lot of Republican men hard right now because, yeah, divorce rates are increasing. If you've been listening, yeah, and that's the thing. Yeah, listen to my episodes. Go catch up. It's like they might, yeah. To some, they're like, oh, but that's old. Like last week, even a month ago, I was talking about this stuff. Divorce rates are increasing a lot, especially when it comes to the conservative party. Even though I just read a few articles about Democrats cheat more often, but I really want to dig into that because I think it's just Republican men don't admit it, or they hide it better. Because, one, politically, we keep finding, especially with the Republican conferences, that's when Tinder keeps break. Like, how is that? Tinder just breaks down just coincidentally when all of the Republican men come together and get them come together. But yeah, coincidence, huh? Huh? Yeah, isn't that just a coincidence? No, I don't think so. But then also, I like on the dating apps, a lot of conservative men who try to match with me and talk with me. And then I find out they're married. Then I find out they're married. So I think that maybe it might be equal, if not conservative more. But then also, I mean, the articles did bring up a good point where Democrats might cheat more because they don't have that religious thing backing them. But that at the same time, like a lot of Democrats or non religious people are kind of more, well, it depends on what side of the Bible. Because when it comes to giving and empathy and compassion and forgiving and things like that, that's Team Democrat. And then when it comes to judging, Republicans do that all the time. Yeah. And when they want to be forgiven, it's to an extent where they're as mean as possible, but then they say they pray about it, and or they'll be forgiven, and or they're mean to people. Because there was even that one woman who, she I think her videos went viral and stuff because she was encouraging people to tease and mock, especially the LGBTQ community or people who are not cookie cutter, the genders and things. Because there was that one little boy who was doing a video based off of moisturizers and I think a lip chap or something. I forgot exactly the exact products. It doesn't really matter. But I think it was an Ulta haul. And she was just like, yeah, tease him. Tease him to make him be masculine again. Like, it was just like, what? And also, we need to be thankful that we have at least some boys and some men like this, because some of these men don't know how to take care of themselves. Some of these men, oh my gosh, millennial men. Millennial men. Looking at dating apps. Some of you guys put down my hair, but and also, yeah, and it's kind of funny because, yeah, it's like when I take it's funny because when I take my pictures, I never took pictures just be like, this is gonna be for a dating app. I want to look the best. Like, I never did that, and I've hated pictures. So sometimes I'm like, okay, let me just go through my phone, load up some pictures real quick, and whatever, whatever. So, but you know what? Maybe I'll change that, and maybe I'll take some pictures soon. I don't know. I don't know. Especially, I'm going to be getting ready to do live soon. So, yeah, get ready for that. Get ready for that. Especially for the other channel. Especially for the other channel. But, yeah, it's just really funny how people want to mock and tease some guys for being maybe a little bit more feminine or for caring about, their moisture and appearance and stuff, when a lot of these masculine men, and it's funny, Republican men are supposedly the ones who are more attractive. But as they age, it's like they get, like, now that they have a wife or girlfriend, or now that they have a wife and girlfriend and things, they feel like they can just do whatever they want and they don't have to keep up with themselves as much. And or there are some men who, they just feel like the women are only supposed to be beautiful and keep up with themselves. And it's like the man is just like, I'm a man, I'm masculine. That means I don't have to care about what I look like. And the woman is just supposed to accept me for who I am. And or I make enough money where it's like she should just date me, because if she dates me, she won't need a job and she won't need to work, and she's just going to be financially strapped to me. And it doesn't matter what I look like as long as my money and my wallet and my bank account looks good, or my investments look good. This is why a lot of men don't like me, and a lot of men don't want to date me, and I'll get over it. Because a lot of the men who don't want to date me, I take that as a compliment, because yeah, we're not compatible whatsoever. Because a lot of men can't stand that. Yes, I will not date. I will never date a Republican, a MAGA, or anyone on the right, because I'm not compatible. And if you look through the screenshots, you're going to see so many men that hate me because of that. But I'm just like, why in the world would you want to date me and we're not compatible? Why in the world would you want to date me? And we're probably going to be in a lot of arguments, fights, and discuss. Because I'm not going to hold my tongue. Because at my church, I remember, oh, I will never forget. Like you, if you've been listening, you already know how. Like my pastor, he did this whole dating series, especially after his divorce, and then he remarried or whatever. But he was saying how, ladies, you're not supposed to argue with men. It's like what he says, gal. You're supposed to, the man's supposed to have final word. It's like what? Even if he's wrong, you're gonna do as he said. Like what? No, no, no. No wonder you got divorced. No wonder you got divorced. Yeah. No, I'm good. I'm good on that. I wonder if you tell your sisters to do that. I wonder if you tell your sisters to do that. Yeah, yeah. Anyway. But yeah, a lot of men don't like me, especially because of the whole political thing. Because I've been doing this for over 10 years, babies. I think even once I started dating, because I would bring up politics, but then back then, like when some men would be like, well, politics don't really matter and stuff, like I didn't know to be more hardcore with it. I was kind of nervous, especially because of my walking and now diagnosed disability. Back then it was undiagnosed. So when men told me that, oh, well, you need to just date who you can date in the first place, kind of sounding like what my mother would say. Yeah, back then I kind of did. I did fall for it or whatever. And yeah, I settled. I settled a lot. And so when I take a step back and look at these guys, a lot of the guys who said they were either Democrat or not political, now I see some of the Republican side of them. And especially with Mr. No Heart, he said he was Democrat and he always said how his family was stupid. Yeah, this made like a see mirroring. It's like it's really funny how he would have the nerve to say how stupid his family members were because they were conservative, MAGA, Orange Man supporters or whatever. But then whenever his mother would say that I only got into college because I'm black. I only became like a part-time professor because I'm black. I only wrote a rough draft of my novel because I'm black. And they had the same novel where he said he will only read it if I publish it. But then after I broke up with him, all of a sudden, all of these lies kept coming out. I'm just like, idiot, you don't think I'm going to remember? Like, and see, a lot of these men, these Republican men, they don't want you to remember. I got screenshots proving it because there have been some men who've treated me like garbage, and so I blocked them, ignored them, but then they created another profile, and then they try to talk to me again, and I'm like, don't you remember? But then they blamed me. They gaslight. They're like, oh, that's not right of you to bring up the past. It's not right of you to bring up how I was or how I treat you or how I do. Like, what in the actual world? What in the black baby Jesus? What? And be careful, ladies, because a lot of men are going to do that. Anything and everything you do, they are going to turn around. And anything and everything they do, especially wrong, they're going to turn around and blame you for what they did wrong. With how they treated you, they're going to blame you. Because, like, back with my profile, I say that you must have investments because I have dealt with so many broke men and or men who all of a sudden we go on a date and they say they forgot their wallet. What? And so it got to a point where there were a few times where at the beginning of a date, I would ask, do you have your wallet? Yes, I would ask. And ladies, I would kind of recommend it, especially if it's a first date, second date, and stuff, because at least at this point, he will know. Don't mess with you. Don't play those games. And I know one of the times, well, because it's happened twice. It almost happened a third time, but that I remember when I would only order a water because I wanted to make sure, like, he could not put the tap on me because I ordered nothing. It was on him. He was going to order his own food that night, yes. Because I even remember the waitress was like, oh, are you sure? Like, yes, I'm sure. Oh, no, but you're not hungry. Like, because, yeah, she wanted more money. And the thing was, like, at the end of the meal, as I was walking, I would have given her like $5 or $10 as a, yeah, even though I didn't eat, here's some money for you, but I was trying to be safe for myself. But then she kept pushing. I didn't like that. And she didn't understand what I was going through or what I've been through in the past. So what did I do right after? I went and picked up some fast food. I think I went to Rally's. Yeah, Rally's got those good burgers. Like, yeah, Rally's is one of my favorites. Checkers, Rally's, yeah, that's one of my favorites. Or it's like, well, it sounds like two, but they're kind of like the same in a way. But yeah, one of my, yeah. Anyways, I haven't been there in years though. You know what? Yeah, I might change that because now I'm craving. Yeah. Anyway. But I'm a nerd at the same time, and my parents taught me how to budget my money and how to have a good or at least great credit score. And with Mr. No Heart, he had a terrible credit score. So when he asked me to start that business, yeah. And yeah, did he trick me with that one? He did. Does he owe me money? A lot. A lot. Will I ever forgive him? No. Because then he tried to blame me for it. He begged me to start the business and told me, oh, you're gonna be able to buy a house, you're gonna pay off your student loans, you're gonna do this, and that, and you're gonna be able to start the businesses that you've been saving up for. Trust me. Oh yeah, we're gonna be able to do this. And remember, I used to do this up north and I made tons of money. Yeah. A bunch of lies. So many lies. So many lies. And this is probably gonna be this is gonna be a series because I have so many more examples, but and yeah, I'm still going to be on the money part at the end of this one, but there's so much more to go because even willing to adopt, back to the Christian men. If it was a Christian Democrat or whatever, the Christian guy was like, no, I want to make my own. I want kids with my DNA. I don't want somebody else's children. Those won't be mine. And I'm just like, okay. Now I want to know, what does the Bible say about adoption and foster? Because a lot of the Christian men, they just act like it's a sin, but then they're pro-life, and these children, they're alive, they're breathing. But a lot of men or a lot of Christians only treat pro-life until they take their first breath, and they're like, you're on your own, whatever, I don't care. You can't afford to eat, oh yeah, I don't care, don't get food stamps. I don't want my money going to it. Like, yeah, they show their true colors after you take your first breath. Yeah. And then if a Republican woman falls to the point where her health is at the line, her life is at the line, then all of a sudden she's pro choice. Now she wants to choose because it's her life on the line. Her life on the line. But yeah, so yeah, I'm going to have a part two because I have so much more, even still about the financial part, and even about adoption and about conversation and talking. Because do you know how many men have come back into or they've tried to come back into my life because they're just like, I miss the conversations. I can't believe how much you're able to get out of me because the conversation and discussions, and you're very well rounded with different topics to the point where we can talk all night. And if you remember with Tom Moss, I talked to him until the sun came up several times. And sometimes we would talk 3 or 4 nights a week like that. Or not until the sun came, but at least 4 or 5 hours conversation. And there's guys in my past too. They would come back and be like, "Oh, I miss those days. I'm talking to this one girl now, but oh my gosh, I want to hit my head against the wall. I want to fall off a cliff. I want to do A, B, and C because I can't. I don't want her to talk. I want her to shut up." And it's just like, oh, okay. It's like, oh, but she's beautiful and everything. Like, and a lot of conservative men care more about looks than anything else. That's what I've noticed. I've noticed that so much. Like, if you look at my Patreon, the screenshots and stuff, a lot of those men based off looks. On Meet Me and Scout, you're so beautiful, you're stunning, you're this, you're that. But okay, I'm running out of time. Thank you so much for listening to the Handicapable Black Woman Throne Room. I am a woman, I am of color, and I am handicapable. But most importantly, I am human and you're human too.